Hey guys, welcome back to Savage Sense Outdoors. I'm back in the shop today working on the boat. For the front deck, I got a bit of framing done off camera. I'll show you guys what I have going on there, but it's been cold through the winter. I didn't want to mess with making a video while I'm just trying to figure stuff out and battle the cold, trying to get some stuff done. But today I'm going to be cutting out aluminum sheets, working on the hatches and the decks, getting those sheeted in aluminum. So the most notable work I got done off camera is this front deck framing. And I bought two hatches, one hatch here and another hatch that's gonna go in the back deck. But I got a whole bunch of framing done here. This whole area, this big square is gonna be part of this hatch. And then otherwise, I'm gonna have a dual battery tray right there with just a small hatch here. And I'm planning on 2 batteries to run the trolling motor. And I wanted to get 2 batteries up in the nose of the boat in order to get some weight up front. Batteries are heavy, it'll help with some weight distribution. I'm hoping that's the plan anyway. Get some weight in the front of the boat, and then obviously I won't have to run quite as much wire to power the trolling motor. And then I'll have a single battery in the back, but that's another video. But without further ado, I'm gonna measure out the floor for the hatch and get it cut out of this aluminum. And I got some cardboard templates. Well, they're not templates yet, but I got a bunch of cardboard. That's what I'm gonna use to trace for the sheeting on the deck. Because I don't know if you know how much one sheet of 90 thou aluminum costs, but this 4x10 sheet costs $275, and I don't want to make a bad cut on that because that would be a lot of wasted money if I start making bad cuts on a $300 sheet of aluminum. So I got my pieces cut out for lining the hatch. This is the floor. I'm gonna get that riveted in. I've told you guys in past videos, but I think this is a 3/16 drill bit. Using 3/16 rivets. And then with the countersink rivets, you got a countersink drill bit to wallow out the holes so the countersink rivet sits flat. I've gone into detail about that in a past video. So, I just finished riveting this in. My intrusive thoughts got to me a little bit. I just wanted to see how strong it was. Because there's no supports in the middle of this thing. It's only riveted around the perimeter. I was curious. I was like, how strong is my framing really going to be? But I can bounce on this. And of course it flexes. But it's sturdy. So I think the rest of the framing, because I've only got like a 1 foot span, 16-inch span, 1 foot span, everywhere else. This is going to be one sturdy boat if I'm able to stand in a 2 foot by 3 foot box with no supports in the middle of it. Because this is just the hatch floor. I wasn't worried about weight here, but I just wanted to see. And I'm 180 pounds. So I'm calling that a very big victory on the strength of how the framing of this boat's gonna be. This is one of the sides. Fits like a glove. Beautiful. Like I was saying about the templates, we're using cardboard to help trace before I take it to the aluminum sheet. But essentially, doing as much measuring as I can instead of going back and forth to the boat. So, for example, the top line is 56.5 inches. bottom line was 48 3/4, I think that said. So cut my template out as best I could. And it lines up here about perfect. So once you got your template how you want it, I just took a paint pen to it, or paint marker, get it traced out on your aluminum. The paint marker works a lot better than Sharpie, so $5 well spent for a paint marker. We're gonna get this cut out. Another thing to take into account when you're laying your template out is what side you want to be the straightest edge. So in my case, this will be the edge that meets with the top of the deck. So I want this to be the straightest, because if the bottom side is a little bit off, it's meeting with the subfloor of the boat, but there'll be a little bit of tolerance there depending on the thickness of my foam flooring. So if the cut isn't perfect on the bottom, it's not the end of the world, but I want a straight factory edge on the top of my deck. Take that into account when you're laying your template out, and I've also got a piece of angle set up, kind of like same concept as a track saw. I'm gonna run my circular saw down my piece of angle and get a nice straight cut. So there's that piece I just got cut out. Turned out pretty well, other than there's a little bit of a gap along the hull of the boat. That's all right, I'm pretty happy with it. I'll probably raise it up so it matches the top of that angle, like I was saying before, and then the small gap at the bottom. Hydro turf will be thick enough to cover a small gap like that at the bottom, so I'm not too worried about that. So doing the rest of the deck should go pretty easily with the cardboard templates. I think I showed you, I don't know, everything you need to know about making the cardboard templates anyways. Like I said, I like to get my measurements of what I'm looking for and then cut, the general shape onto the cardboard, then bring it over to the boat and see how it fits. And if you have to trim the cardboard up, then trim the cardboard up. But it's important to get the correct shape on the cardboard before you start cutting into your expensive sheet metal, all right? Because nobody likes to waste money. So if you've got something cheap like cardboard to make templates with, that's gonna be your best bet. This is the next template. Got this one cut out. I added that piece of angle there, and then I bought 1/8 inch flat stock. So we're gonna layer that 1/8 inch flat stock on top of this, and then I'll have a nice flush surface for all my panels to sit on. And I cut this panel out, and I'm just flipping this over for that side. It's a pretty good fit. I had to trim about 1/4 inch off because, well, it's not perfectly symmetrical. Like I said, 1/4 inch, but I'm not gonna tear the thing apart and re-rivet everything over a 1/4 inch adjustment. So we just trimmed down the cardboard template to be about 1/4 inch smaller for that side. And we're gonna cut the next panel. All right, got that second piece of the puzzle in. The more I'm thinking about this thing, the more I'm realizing I should paint the interior right now. The reason I'm thinking about painting the interior before fastening these panels down for the deck is because if I paint now, then I won't get paint on these panels before I rivet them down. And I'm thinking bare aluminum will be better for the HydroTurf to adhere to. So I think I'm gonna start prepping the interior for paint, kind of doing a total 180 on working on the deck right now. I wanna prep for paint, get it painted on my next warm day, and then we'll finish we will finish the front deck. If you guys want to watch painting, I did a whole video on painting the exterior of the thing with templates from Red Leg Camo. So I'm not gonna film painting the interior of the boat. I'm gonna do the same process that I did for the exterior. Go check that video out. Here's what she's looking like right now. I got these two panels riveted in, and I have this one cut out, but I wanted to show you what I did here. And I added this support bar. And the reason I did that is because I expect to have a seat pedestal right here is what I'm thinking. And because I've got my hatch here, and then I will have a hatch for the batteries for an access door. So I figure if I've got a square, probably have 2 screws holding the pedestal down here and then 2 back here. But if I didn't have this support bar, I'm worried that that pedestal might flex back and forth. So the reason I added this cross member is hopefully to prevent this bar and my seat pedestal from twisting. That's my thought process. Otherwise, I got that last panel right here. That's going right in the middle there. And the next thing on the list to do is mess around with hinges, making another access door for this here. But I picked up this aluminum continuous hinge off eBay. I wanna say this 3-foot section was like $15 or $20, but it's already dimpled. If you can see these dimples right there, there's an example of that dimple, and they do that so the center pin does not slide out on you. So it's kind of nice that they already have those set, and it looks like there's a punch every 3 notches or so. So should be pretty much plug and play. Just cut this to the length I need, and rivet it in. All right. This is kind of what I came up with for my battery hatch. I just got it lined with angle for reinforcement. Otherwise it sits down just like that. If you put all your weight on it, it does flex a little bit because that's just 90 thou aluminum. So I might add some extra supports hanging down to hold it here. Kind of something just like if I just put some kind of tray here, like another piece there for it to sit in, so it won't be able to flex down quite as badly. But a little bit of a design error on my side. I should have put a bar going across so it can have support on all 4 sides instead of just 2 sides. But nonetheless, I should be able to open the hatch all the way back and access the batteries no problem. So that's what I'm thinking. We only got a couple more pieces to cut out to finish the front deck. Otherwise, this is what she's looking like. It's coming along really well. So that's kind of what we got going on here is we got those 2 pieces cut out. I don't have them fastened in yet because I'm brainstorming right now because I'm thinking about right here. If I've got flooring going up here, there's gonna be a gap, you know? So I'm trying to figure out how I can fix that gap, all right? What I'm thinking is if I have a piece of angle right here, you know, then I can have a piece of sheet covering this gap, which theoretically is good, but the angles are not gonna be good, you know? The sheet metal isn't gonna line up with, this is kind of going this way and then the angle is tipping back that way. So I took an angle grinder to this piece of aluminum right here to open up that angle. And surprisingly enough, I didn't ruin the integrity of it. You know, like she's still pretty sturdy. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do that, which, you know, if I was a rich guy, I'd have a sheet metal brake in my garage. But I'm not a rich guy and I don't have a sheet metal brake. So I'm thinking scoring this with a grinder to open up my angle iron, you know, a little bit, then I can have a cool little panel going up to cover that gap. What do you think? What do you think? I think she'll be good. That's what we're gonna do. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming into the 4th quarter here. I got these cardboard templates cut out. They fit very nicely in here. So those will be the last 2 pieces that I need to cut out. Like I said, we're coming into the 4th quarter, and this sucker is just about done. The front deck anyways. A couple more pieces to do after this. But really, it's just flooring, electrical, mount the motor, and then everything else is like accessories. But once the flooring, motor, and electrical is done, it will be ready for the water. Voila, one more piece in the books. We're gonna take this last template, trace it onto the aluminum. All right, it's gonna be a tough cut, and hopefully it fits all right, but we're probably gonna cut her out a little bit big, and then if we have to trim it down to make it fit, it is what it is. Okay, I mean, I wish I had, I wish I could say I was exaggerating, but this piece fits damn near perfectly. There's a small gap between, you know, that tan piece and this. And I can see a little bit of the wood grain through there. But holy cow, did we trim that out to fit just immaculately. So that being said, well, I still got my cool guy safety glasses on because aluminum chips go everywhere when you're using a circular saw on aluminum sheet. But holy cow, we got a freaking front deck, and we got a big old storage hatch. Put you guys in there. Look at all that space for stuff. And then we got this hatch. It's super hard to open because I don't have I get a screwdriver, all right? I'll need to add something. So yeah, right now we need the screwdriver to kind of pry it up, but I'll add you know, a rope or something up top to make it easy to pull it up. But that is our battery storage. Super easy peasy. And yeah, I mean, the front deck is done. I just gotta drill and punch some rivets, and we are A-okay, good to go on the front deck. Then it's a lot of work to do yet, but the front deck is done. Here's one last look at her before we end the video off. I think she went great. Like I said, I don't have it riveted in yet. I still have to rivet in the hatch lid. You guys don't need to see that part. As far as the video is concerned, the front deck is totally done. And I really hope that I offered you guys some value on this front deck build and just with the boat build in general. So if you guys have been finding these videos useful, please drop a like on the video, drop a comment if you got questions, you know, whatever I'm using. If you have questions on where I got my metal, what size, thickness of metal I'm using, what size rivets I'm using, blah, blah. I feel like I've gone through it pretty well, but I am open to answering questions, and I am open to suggestions if you think I should be doing something better. Obviously, I'm not gonna tear apart the front deck to redo something if you think I could have done it better. It's just not feasible. But I would be happy to hear your recommendations in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.